Hey guys, it is Tristan with NewsStand, and we are going to talk today about The Joker, the new comic that is out by James Tynion and art by Gilliam March. Now, before we get into it too much, I want to talk about the theme of the story, at least in the beginning, and that is, what is your evil? Everybody has that moment when they close their eyes, when they're haunted. They see something that haunts them over and over and over again. And of course, depending on your life experience or occupation, it could be something different. Now, I knew exactly what mine was. I knew exactly how to answer that question. What is your evil? What haunts you, right? Let me know yours in the comments below. But mine was simple. Mine is a turtle. And that sounds very silly, but when I was a little girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old, I had gotten I was probably 9 or 10. I had gotten a turtle, only the size of a silver dollar, very small, in a little teeny small aquarium. And my mother, she didn't like that. She didn't like it at all, so she threatened to flush it. She wanted me to throw it in the garbage. So instead, when she was sleeping, I took it outside and I let it go at that age, thinking it would be able to become, bigger, which doesn't happen, but live. And that was my whole main point. And then realizing, a few days later that only made them, probably die quicker. I think about that a lot. I caused and inflicted pain upon this little innocent animal that depended upon me for survival. That's my evil. That's what I see. I don't ever want to cause pain or inflict any sort of hurt on any person, any animal, anything on purpose. And if I can avoid it, I will. Makes sense. So, what's yours? Let me know. Anyways, let's talk about this book, right? And I absolutely really did like it. I think it is a good story for some more character development instead of just side arc or side story. And I think this is going to be definitely more of a James Gordon story, definitely more on the side of his development as an older retired police commissioner, right? So we start off with a prologue, and we see that James is leaving Chicago and heading towards Gotham City. He didn't have the best reputation as a cop in Chicago, so he's kind of just waiting and lingering. He's not ready to go. He knows he's headed to Gotham, but he has one person named Danny Ryan that he worked with alongside. He came up and asked him a question. Asked him what his boogeyman or his evil was. What did he see? What haunted him when his eyes were closed at night and nothing else was in his mind? Now, for Danny Ryan, his personal evil was seeing the devil. He saw a man eating the face of a 17-year-old girl on a table, and this man oddly looks like Joker. He asked him as he laughed if he wanted a bite before he escaped into the night. And that is what he sees when he closes his eyes. That is what haunts him. And Gordon kind of brushes it off, right? And that's the end of our prologue. But what is Gordon's evil? What is he going to see now every time he closes his eyes? Which brings us up to chapter 1. Call it a day. A day happens, and this, if you've been following my channel, has been going on since Infinite Frontier last week, right? Arkham Asylum has an attack that is very similar to what they think the Joker would do, except for this time, to make it more sadistic. When Joker usually drops his toxins, it makes people laugh, right? Well, they took that part away. Nobody's laughing, but they're all smiling. Because when you laugh, you can warn, in a way, the person in the next room. They wanted to kill as many as possible. It's the biggest gas attack in history. We also do get a glimpse of the guard. If you've seen my Infinite Frontier review that I said, by the name of Sean Mahoney, I thought was going to end up being Peacekeeper 1, and instead of being taken out with a body bag, he's taken out on a gurney. So I'm assuming, maybe, my theory is still correct, But we learn a few of the people they know to be dead or presumed dead, and that includes people like Jeremiah Arkham and Jonathan Crane. And spoilers for Batman 106. If you've read it, you know that not to be the case. So there is a lot of people missing. A lot. And one they know is dead is Bane. And he's kind of shown and made as a strength for his little area in Gotham, right? So we see the commissioner talking with both Mayor Nakano and before that with Batman, trying to figure out how this happened, why it happened, and what they could do to get a hold of Joker, right? So we then see basically the haunting of James Gordon. We see him just washing his face and he sees Joker. We see a little bit about Punchline. Everything is free Punchline. And basically, people are dressing up now as Jokers or as Punchlines to intimidate the rest of Gotham. And that's where we get the idea that not only is he haunting Jim Gordon by looking in the mirror or thinking about Sarah Essen, who died long ago, right? He's also haunting him when it comes to both his daughter and his son. Obviously, we know what he did to Barbara Gordon, and we know now that James Gordon Jr. is recently dead. Not at the hands of Joker, but he definitely had a little bit into the meddling of that mind. Well, then a woman shows up, and he goes with her because comics, I don't know why you would go with a random stranger, but comics, we'll go with it. Now, they head back to this home and you can tell this lady is very rich. You can tell she has her connections because she talks about a private jet and this is one of her relatives and her friends' manor. It's a beautiful home. And my guess is she has some sort of ties to the Court of Owls. Now, I don't know that that's true. That could be completely wrong. She could just be a nobody. But either that or one of the bigger crime bosses, right? So basically we see her having a conversation with Jim and she makes him an offer. Now, Jim wants to retire, but he doesn't have enough really to retire for more than a few years. And as he gets older, he knows more and more that he's not able to do what he did, as a young child, as a young police officer. So she makes him an offer. And that offer is without having, money, without getting any younger, going into the golden years. If he accepts this invitation with all of their intelligence, he will be able to use. He will also have a bank card with unlimited spending for the duration of the entire mission. And upon completion, $25 million will be deposited into his bank account as payment. That's a lot. That will be able to have him have retirement and then some for Barbara, some for Gotham, or whatever he deems necessary. Now, basically, the mission is this. Go with us at the end of the week, and we want you to kill him. We don't want him coming back alive. We want Joker dead. Well, then we see Joker. And basically, Joker's hanging out. It looks like some sort of tropical area. He has a Gotham Gazette, and he says, it's about to get very interesting because he sees the newspaper where it says Joker's last laugh, Arkham Asylum destroyed. I'm still going with the theory that it could have more to do with Nakano and Scarecrow working together, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, we do have a backup story in this one about Punchline. If you remember in Punchline #1, which came out last November, so it's been a while, we've seen Bluebird and Leslie Tompkins building the case against Alexa, which is Punchline. And she did her own sort of building of her innocence and really did a lot when it came to releasing podcasts and using social media to make it seem like she was innocent and being wrongfully accused. And at the behest of Joker, she was his puppet, right? So they're still trying to convince. Now, one of the witnesses comes up missing, basically out in the river. And the other one they can't find. They're losing everything they could have for evidence. All they have is circumstantial. Fingerprints really don't mean anything. The DA needs something to convict her, and it doesn't look like they really have anything. And they've even got protests outside saying free Punchline, free Punchline. So we actually see Punchline on the inside of Blackgate. She notices a little calling card, wonders kind of what it is. Her roommate, says, that is the Queen of Spades. She's calling for you. It's your time to give up something, whether it's information, contraband, commissary snacks, anything. You have to, in order to survive in here, give up something. That kind of, pisses her off. She is Joker's girlfriend, so you gotta realize how crazy she is. So she runs in, and we see this Queen of Spades, and I love the art by Mariko Adalfo. I hope I'm saying that name right, but she, the Queen of Spades says, I'm not some maniac, pixie Arkham wannabe. I am the real deal. I am not riding Joker's coattails. I am an aristocrat of crime. Well, Punchline doesn't take too kindly to that and says, you want to know why they call me Punchline? Absolutely love the way this looks. And she knocks her out. And she's like, haha, get it? Right? Punch, huh? Good one. Anyways, and then we see her just keep, beating her face in. So we see Bluebird, right? And she's looking for her brother, Cullen, and he's with his boyfriend. They're kind of having a normal life, not a superhero life, not worrying about being the brother of a superhero. And she's really not too happy about his newfound independence, whether it's because he's hanging out with the free Punchline people or because he is just trying to live his life. She doesn't like it, and he doesn't want a babysitter. So we see Bluebird, and she takes off, and she is going to get information, hopefully to convict Punchline of a previous crime, meaning not the one she's done now, because there's not enough information and it's all circumstantial, hoping to go back to her roots, going back to her college, going back to something else to convict her and keep her in jail for an old crime that, of course, wouldn't reach the statute of limitations. But we see her, and she's going to, I'm assuming next one, put on her cowl and take off. So next, Out of the Past. I loved these stories. I will tell you that. The first story, they are really two sides to the same coin, right? So one's in Gotham and one's out. We're getting to see both sides. I absolutely love, one thing I love about Punchline is they're keeping the same artist on. And Mariko Adalfo is a fantastic artist. Beautiful, especially for these characters with Bluebird and Cullen, right? I love the way that they're drawn. James Tynion does a great job of writing both stories. I know he had help from Sam Johns in the second one, but both of them are done really well. I think James Tynion has really gotten his, what's the best way to put it? He's really stretched his legs, gotten used to where he's at with these characters, and made them shine. What I want from now on, and I think with this Punchline backup and with the Joker story, is not, I don't want to see a bunch of huge events. I'm honestly kind of spent with these events. I don't want any more. I don't want any more for a while. I know they're doing Infinite Frontier, but that's more of an explanation event. So we need good character development. Play the long game. We've done it before. We've played the long game when it comes to Contagion, and then we had No Man's Land. We've done this. Think of 52. Think of Countdown. All of these things played the long game. Character development, storyline development, not huge events every single step on the way. I'm hoping that's what we're getting back to, and it honestly feels like it. I was pretty impressed this week. So let me know, of course, what you guys think about these two books. Well, 2-in-1 type books, right? The story, the main story, and the backup. But I'm quite impressed. But then again, I have been enjoying everything that's come out by James Tynion as of late. So let me know. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.